What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Run It Up Rue back with another episode of Real Sports Talk, home of the realest sports talk. We got Detroit up next on the schedule. Big game for both teams. We got to make it shake. We can't afford to lose this game if we're going to stay in the playoff race. We got a lot of things to discuss. More importantly, I want to hear from the opposition. I want to see how they're going into this week, what their preparation is looking like. I'm going to pull up some of their videos. We're going to take a look at some of our guys, how they're going into this week, how they're preparing. And then I'm going to give you my synopsis on what I think is going to happen on Thursday night, prime time, 8:15 in Motor City. How Dallas Cowboys is going to keep the music going. I'm going to let y'all know right after this. Let's go. Dallas is in Detroit for what should be a very electrifying game, guaranteed. We can't afford to make any mistakes. We have to keep the music rolling. All puns intended. The best thing I feel about this matchup is we have two number one wide receivers, right? And I think George Pickens has the right mindset and mentality to go into the Motor City and walk all over that defense. It's been struggling of late. They've been giving up things deep, and they're not getting home when it comes to their pass rush. So I feel like our offensive line is going to be able to hold up. I feel like our wide receivers are going to show out. They put belt to ass to us. I believe last season. We've been playing them back to back seasons, 3 seasons. You know what I'm saying? And it's always a fight when we go up against Detroit. We both need this win. So let's not get it twisted. We both need this win. So Dallas have some keys to the game, which I'm gonna get my point across there a little later. But first I want to pull up the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna add the head coach up first. Let's just see how they feeling, what they talking about going into this week, how they're gonna prepare and stuff like that. And if I need to stop it, I'll stop it. But if I don't, we're gonna let it rock. Let's go.
Go ahead. Coach, I was saying y'all been out in Dallas the last couple of years. Obviously, had the game out there. Y'all lost a controversial one. Then y'all come back last year. Y'all blew them. How is it just to have Dallas at home this time, and host that team here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've been out there 3 or 4 times. I don't know. Has it been 3 or is it 2? I don't know what it is. So yeah, to be able to get them back home, that's good. That's different, because but they're playing good football right now. Playing with a lot of confidence, man. They've beefed up that defense. It's a really good D-line. Those guys are active. Eberflus has done a hell of a job. He's a good defensive coordinator. We know him, obviously. He was in this division. Defense always played well. But he's doing a good job. And then, what shot he's done offensively over there. And Prescott, those 2 receivers, they got a run game. Old line's rugged. It's a good team. It's a good team, man. This is a real good team playing at a high level, confident football. So it's be a good test for us, man. We're pretty fired up.
The last 3 years, I was just going to ask, being how good they are since Quinn Williams came aboard, what sort of impact he's had on that defense and kind of how they've played the last few weeks with him in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, he helps. He helps those guys. You guys know how I feel about Kenny Clark. I think he's an outstanding player, and so that helps Kenny, and it helps really the rest of them. 41 plays a high level, man. He can burn the edge. You got Clowney. They still got Fowler. I mean, they got some guys now. 97's a good player. He can get an edge. But it really, you put Quinnen in there, man. He's already he's a good player, man. Run and pass, gets off the ball, disruptive, but then he really helps those guys around him. He does, because now there's some resources you may need there, and the rest of those guys, they'll get some 5-down stuff and let those guys go. So it's a good unit, but we just faced a pretty good unit too.
Ask about Josh Pascal. He didn't get activated last week. Did he have a setback, or just wasn't enough time?
Yeah, it wasn't. It just wasn't enough time, really.
So I just wanted to stop Coach right there real quick, just speak on what he said. Yeah, we got 2 wide receivers, running back. Javonte's running the ball crazy. As far as this D-line, and we're going to speak on that a little later, but Quinnen Williams, his addition to this team, there's really no words to put to it. He's a leader amongst men. He's got those guys focused. He's leading by doing. It's a vibrational thing. I feel like what he's bringing to this team, he's just having those guys focused to the point where they're all locked in, they're keyed into their job, their role, and they understand when they do their job, great things are going to come with that. So what's most important going up against Detroit, because Detroit's not going to lay down with that head coach, his mentality. They got it on. He wear it on his shirt. Grit. That's a gritty team over there in Detroit. So I don't want to take them lightly. I don't think Eberflus, I don't think Shoddy is going to take them lightly. And I need everybody on this team to be locked in and focused. I need Shoddy once again to be in his bag. Even though we've been winning, we still have been getting off to slow starts. I want our first drive to be, if not our best drive, damn near one of our best drives of the night, just because it sets the tone. You know what I mean? I love the fact that we know this team can come back. We have it in us. We did it against Philly. We even went down to Kansas City. But we were managed to respond and come back. So even though we know we can do that, I don't want to lean on that. I do want to lead from the front, right? So I want us to, if we win the coin toss, let it be known, I want to defer, right? But when we do get our opening drive, I want it to be one of our best drives. I want it to be balanced and take our shots when we need to. And when we get to the red zone, I want us to execute. If it's first and short or second and short, I want us to run. Even if it's third and 1 goal line, I want us to run. I could understand if we came up on 4th down after 3rd down, we didn't get it on the run. Okay, maybe we do an option pass. Maybe we kick the field goal, right? Take the points. But I don't want to get to the red zone and start BSing around. When it's short, we want to be the team that we spoke on being from the beginning of the year. We want to be a physical team, right? And Javonte has shown us he can get those hard downs, So let's give him the football. Let's lean on this offensive line. Let's move people and show them, right? It's not just about the wide receivers on the outside, that we can be physical and we can move people. Let's do that. And if we can do that, right, this team will be very scary, very scary. But let me bring the coach back up. Let's finish hearing what he has to say. But I wanted to impart some of my thoughts right there.
To really be able to say that we knew he would be able to get through the year, or that he was ready. That's what it came down to. Hate it for him, but it's where it was at.
How do you limit the explosives against an offense like that?
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy because those 2 receivers, man, here's what they do a great job of. And it helps. So you got 2 number 1 receivers on the outside, and both of them are 2 different types of players. So that gives them variety, versatility. But then they run the ball well. They have a diverse run scheme. They do a lot of under center. Dak, they're against playing at a high level. The run action, the play pass stuff has been really good. So when you can run it like they run it, and then you got those guys, and they got a pretty good tight end, man, they become explosive. So, I'll go back to this. So much of it is going to start with shutting this run game down. We cannot let this run game get going. And because those guys are a handful anyway on the perimeter. But if we can just at least shut down some of this two-dimensional football, that's going to go a long way for us.
Just one more follow-up about Dallas. Like, what did you take from the 2023 experience that's become kind of legendary a little bit here with the Dan Skipper game and what that's become? But what did you take from that experience, particularly in the end? Did you learn anything?
No, I mean,
He better have learned that he better report eligible before the play, right? Because that's the play itself worked to perfection. The only thing that caused the flag was that they didn't report eligible on the play. One thing I've noticed about this head coach is, he ultimately believes in his team. He believes in what they can do. He believes in if they do their job, that ultimately good things will come. And he's a gambler. He's a risk taker. Dan Campbell will go for it on fourth down consecutively, and it doesn't always have to be fourth and short for him to feel like, hey, we can get this. He believes in Jared Goff. But if he should have learned anything from this previous game, it should have been to make sure your guys report eligible on the play if you're going to do a play like that. And that just speaks to the risk taker that he is, because to remind you of the play, Dan Skipper was their left tackle. And he seeps out and catches a ball in the end zone. So it was it was a huge play, and it was a huge flag. So he should have learned that, but let coach finish talking here. Right?
I mean, that was a crazy game, right? I mean, that was, everything that came down to, and had an opportunity there at the end and just wasn't able to close it out. But there was a number of things. I don't know if I'd say I learned anything really. I think more than anything, it just makes you mad. That's about it. But all good, man. It was if you're a fan, that was a heck of a game. I know that. And you try to, if anything, you get in that situation again, you try to find a way to win that one instead of, how do you keep it out of the hands of the officials? That's really what you're trying to do. Just leave it out of there, that way it's just up to you.
You ever seen six linemen become a cult hero like Skipper too? It's crazy.
Not really. It's, Skip's he's a different breed of man. So he's something else. He does a good job, man. I'll tell you what, he's dependable now. He's reliable, dependable, and he does a lot of jobs for us. So.
You said that 2023 game makes you mad. It does feel like you put a little extra sauce into the one last year. You guys opened up the playbook and really took it to them, gave them one of their worst losses in franchise history at their place. Do you think that there's carryover year to year? Do you think maybe they're going to be looking to bring a little extra into this one because of the way they, lost that game last year?
I don't know. I mean, I think every team's different. Every year's different. But I know this: they want to win this game. I know that.
That's for sure.
Because I know we want to win this game. So they're playing good football. They're very much in that division race over there right now and playoff race. We're an NFC opponent, and I know that they want to beat us.
We want to whoop that ass, coach.
So, but we want to win too, and we need to win. So that's where this game's at.
Any updates on Graham and Brock?
Yeah, he's better.
This game is huge. This game is huge for both parties involved. Neither team can afford a loss to an NFC opponent. We're both chasing our prospective division leaders right now. They're chasing the Bears. We're chasing Philly. In order for Cowboys to, there's still two paths to ultimately making the playoffs. First path is win our division. In order for that to happen, we would need Philly to pretty much lose while we are winning, right? We need Philly to lose at least 2 games. And of course, us win out, and that's at minimum. to win this division, to catch them, and then to overpace them and ultimately win this division. That's what will need to happen. And then the second path to making the playoffs would be for other teams to start losing in the NFC, like the Carolina Panthers, who just beat the LA Rams. We needed the Rams to win that game yesterday to move further and further away from Philly, who's number 2 in seeding, which would ultimately help Dallas. But they lost to the Panthers. Cleveland wasn't able to win the game yesterday. We needed them to win. So Dallas would need teams to lose, San Francisco being one of them, in order for, it to make sense that way. But ultimately, I believe the only way Dallas truly has the only path to making the playoffs Dallas truly has is by winning this division. We have to get past Philly. And I believe it could happen. I'm not a believer in what Philly is doing right now. I think it's too late to change. They rode out too long with Patullo. They're calling for his head, but I don't think Nick Sirianni is in a place where he could fire him. It's too late in the season. And ultimately, the last thing Philadelphia wants is Sirianni to be calling plays. They don't want that to happen, right? They can't afford that to happen. It was terrible when he tried it. So I don't think they have the answer in house. If they tried to bring somebody in an advisory capacity, maybe they could try and do that. But ultimately, one band, one sound. You can't have too many Chiefs in the huddle, So I'm not a believer in you could just flip the switch just like that and things could come together, especially when you've already been struggling in some of the small things that should in ways that you should already be able to do, like run the ball. They can't run the ball right now. They can't run the ball right now. So when you talk about flipping the switch, what I mean is the switch to flip on everything about this defense, the offense too. I mean, the switch controls which part of the team. And that's why I'm ultimately not a believer in Philadelphia. I believe they can lose some of these games here. It's just a matter of teams not going against them, being scared, and really trying to bring it to them. I'm hoping and praying that Jaden Daniels is available in both games versus the Commanders. I know that by that time, by their games, Commanders could ultimately be eliminated from playoff contention. I know they played hard last night, but we'll see. We'll see. Ultimately, we need Dallas to control what we can control, which is win our games, right? If we can do that, then we should be in a better place. If not, I just want to go down. If we're going to go down, I want to go down swinging. I want our last game to be in victory, whether we make the playoffs or not. I think it's important for going forward. The momentum of this team, we've shown what we can be. And I still believe in our boys until, we are mathematically eliminated, So this league right now is a complete parity. It's up for grabs. There's no real powerhouses in my opinion, right? There's no one team that says, wow, they can't be beat. I mean, prior to yesterday, everybody would have said the LA Rams, but look, they lose to the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. So Bryce Young has kind of made a little believer out of me, but really I just believe in what that is system. I think the system that his head coach is placed over there, and Dave Canales and what he's been able to implement through trial and tribulation, right? Because it hasn't been pretty. I just believe when you finally get a system in place, get players bought into that system, great things can happen. Because no, Bryce Young isn't throwing for 300 yards. He didn't win with 300 yards. He won with less than 200 yards, right? But when you have a system and guys buy into that system, it made the game may be ugly. The other opponent may have to play down a little bit, but that happens in the NFL any given Sunday. So to say that it can't happen, we can't chase down Philly, or these other teams can't start losing and Dallas get in that way, I'm not in a position right now to say that. Nor do I want to. Let's wrap up here with Dan Campbell, see what else he has to say. If it's more about just injury and stuff like that, but we have I want to listen to Jared Goff as well, and then we're gonna switch over to our boys. But let's keep rolling and moving.
There again, we walked through today, and then Brock, really nothing new from last week. We're still sending out scans for what he, for this trachea, and just seeing if there's, any other second opinions that would change, I guess, the outlook for him playing, and right now there's really nothing right now that would change that. So we're just kind of in, I know that frustrates him. He wants to play, but we're just kind of in a holding pattern right now.
And that could be a long-term deal.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. Yep. What's that?
Follow-up.
Yeah.
Does this feel, I mean, I know that you don't ever consider a game a must-win, just given where you guys are and where the division is going and what's at stake against another important NFC opponent battling for a playoff spot. Is there part of that may be a little bit true at this juncture?
Well, our margin for error is very small right now. So, of course, we got to find a way to win, and we want to win, and I think I go back to this. I mean, we just lost one. We got to find a way to win this next one in front of us. And yeah, I mean, time's running out. And so, it's all about finding a way to win the game. But I've also been in these now before where we got counted out. When I was a player, we lost 2 in a row, and we were almost mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. That was all the writing, and then we won out and got in. So you find a way to win the one in front of you, and don't get caught up in the rest of the stuff. That's the bottom line. We're in this business to win. We're trying to win. We got to win.
What year was that for you as a player?
I was 02.
Yeah, so like you said, they have to win. They need to win. And ultimately, it's up to us to make sure that doesn't happen for them. If his only thing he can relate to is when he was a player counted out, great for us, because that means the rest of the team may not have that experience. And one thing I also want to mention about the Detroit Lions and what they're going through, and how this isn't the Detroit Lions that we've faced in the past 2 seasons, is this: they have 2 new coordinators, offensively and defensively, and on top of that, they're replacing 14 assistants from a season ago. So the backbone, the spine, the nucleus of this team, opposite of the players, don't have the same experience that they can share with the head coach when it comes to facing this Dallas Cowboys team, right? So that's also a hurdle that they have to overcome, and hopefully they have a hard time doing it. They right now, they don't seem too in sync. They don't seem as cohesive as they have been in the past, and they can be got. They can be got. Let's not make any mistake about this. The Detroit Lions can be had. The Dallas Cowboys can do exactly what they need to do on Thursday night, right? 8:15, Amazon. We can do what we need to do. We can do what we need to do. So when it comes to the play, right? And I'm gonna bring up Jared Goff here, talking about facing this Dallas Cowboys defense. Is pressure, pressure. He's not a mobile quarterback, right? He's stationary. He's in the pocket. And what has Dallas Cowboys been doing the best in the NFL the last 3 weeks is getting pressure through the middle, right? So if we can disrupt his timing, if we can disrupt his feet, right, we can make it very difficult for Jared Goff going into this game, to the point where he's not really able to execute on the outside like he would want. Plus, they should be missing St. Brown, their wide receiver. He's electrifying, and I know he wants to play, and he would give us fits if he did. Shouts out to him in his recovery. Hopefully he gets back for them soon, but him missing this game ultimately is good for the Dallas Cowboys. It's one less piece to the puzzle that we have to worry about on their end. But let's not mistake it. Dan Quinn will have the next player in his position primed and ready to go. It'll be his time to shine. It's the Dallas Cowboys. The world will be watching. So even though Amwar St. Brown may not be there in a physical form, the spirit will live on the field, and they will do their best. Now it's up for this defense of ours to stop that, and I think it all starts with that line. If we can get pressure on Goff, we can make it very, very hard for them. He's one of the top quarterbacks as far as getting the ball out of his hand. So it's out in less than it's out. Hike. Out, gone, right? So it'll be very hard to get to him because of that. So interior pressure will ultimately help us in that aspect. And if we can't get to him, throw them hands up, right? Let's try and bat down some of these passes. I also believe our biggest key to the game defensively is stopping the run. If we can stop Gibbs and Montgomery, Knuckles and Sonic, like they like to call themselves. If we can slow down that run, that aspect of their offense, ultimately, Dallas Cowboys should be in good shape. Let's bring in Jared Goff talking about facing this defense here, and let's see what he has to say.
Just give me a sense. I mean, obviously, not really a short turnaround, but you get to face a Dallas team that's been playing pretty well at this point in time. What's the difference with their defense the last 3 games as opposed to the first 6?
Yeah, they're playing really well since the bye. They're playing with a lot of energy. They're playing hard. They're playing fast, flying around. Defense is getting better, it seems, every week. And Coach Eberflus got a lot of respect for him and his scheme. And, so we'll have to put in some work this week and come out ready to go.
What's the difficulty of having 2 all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber defensive tackles in Syracuse? What's the biggest challenge for it?
Hard to plan for just one of them. You got to kind of plan for both of them. They're going to be on opposite sides of the ball typically. And, you'd love to be able to say, we're just going to run away from Quinnen, and then you're running right into Kenny, and vice versa. You want to run away from Kenny, and you got to run into Quinnen. So there's challenges there, but we've got guys up front that we know can handle that and do that job.
To what extent does this feel like a must-win game? I mean, you guys all said it after the loss to Green Bay. You guys have kind of put yourself in a little bit of a hole.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they all feel that way, and they will feel that way from here on out. The last 5 will all feel must-win, and you say that, but there's a lot of things that can happen, and of course you want to win every game, and we want to win this one. This one's very important, and certainly it's an NFC opponent, a team that's in the playoff hunt, just like we are, and so it's a very important one, and we want to win.
We know the connection that you and Frank had over the years. Just how much of a roller coaster has this situation with him been?
Not as much of a roller coaster as it seems outside. I was excited to get him back there for a couple of days, and then obviously fell through with the physical stuff.
So he's referring to his longtime center, Frank Ragnow, who was trying to make a comeback from retirement, but ultimately failed his physical and will not be able to rejoin his team this season. We'll see if he decides to rejoin the Detroit Lions next season. He still has the taste for football. Ultimately, that's good for the Dallas Cowboys. He wouldn't have been able to get back into this game, I don't think, this week anyway. But, going forward for the future of the Detroit Lions, that could have been huge for them. I know the fans were looking forward to that reunion, but we don't have to worry about that as Cowboys fans going into this matchup. But let him finish.
He's doing well. I'm happy. He's happy and in a good place.
We know a lot about his toughness. Can you even fathom how somebody would have a grade 3 hamstring injury and not really know it?
Yeah, his pain tolerance is pretty high. So, yeah, he's a special dude.
How do you feel like it went with Tristan first game?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. His communication was good. His in and out of the huddle is, he was good with me on the sidelines talking through all the stuff, and I thought he did a great job.
Okay. That was short and sweet from the quarterback there. We're gonna keep on moving here. I don't think there's anybody on the Cowboys side, on the Detroit Lions side that we need to hear from. Really, we got it short and sweet from the quarterback and the head coach, how we like it over here. We're gonna bring in the Dallas Cowboys side of it all. And just see how they're feeling ultimately.
Unit. We still have a lot of things to clean up, a lot of things.
Confidence here in the last, what have you guys been able to do the last 3 games?
I think it's getting better week in and week out by the good things we've been doing as a unit. We still have a lot of things to clean up, a lot of things to kind of get better in, but I think we're going in the right direction to be the defense that we want to be. We got a long way to go, but everybody's up for the task to achieve the goal that we want to achieve. So
Specifically the run defense success, what would you credit that to?
just everybody executing. The coaches calling the plays and the players on the field executing, and everybody just doing their job to the best of their ability. So.
You obviously had experience with Coach Wycott coming into this.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a moment when you first got here where you're like, oh, okay, that's something Coach Wycott used to teach me and he's teaching me again here?
Every single thing he kind of say, he's never going to change the person he is, from the passion to the coaching style to the standard that he has. So every time he says a word, I've been with him like 5 years now, so it's all the same to me. So
is there any example of that sticks out where it's like, oh, that's a Wycott thing?
Just everything he do, like I've been with him 5 years, so it's like everything he do is kind of the same. So he's super consistent at that. So
I know it's a small sample size since you've been here, but in your time around Coach Schottenheimer, is there anything that you would say like stands out to you about him?
I think his passion every single day, his positivity every single day, his accountability and his consistency every single day, on the fine details, the fundamentals, the small things that help guys win games and also essentially help teams lose games also, that's very, very important that he harp on every single day. So the consistency that comes from him, from the passion to the message to the conversation that he had with the unit, man, is unbelievable. So.
Is anything about him at all, there any similarities with Coach Saban, or are they just completely different people?
I haven't been around him too long. I was like, 3 weeks now? So I have to just be around him more and just listen to him more and just do the things I need to do to kind of feed and to learn from him. And I can have that probably like next year.
What are the challenges?
Huh?
You sweating out that Iron Bowl yesterday?
Not really. No, when I'm at home, I try to stay away from football so I can just chill. So I seen they pulled it out, so roll tide. So
When they made the trade, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make? Was it just getting your family down here? Was it just what was the biggest thing you had to take care of?
Nothing really. I got an amazing wife, so she knocked it out the park with everything, man. So shout out to her. And then I came in, like I said, I feel like I have a great IQ when it comes down to the football, and being a blessing that I was with Whitecomb for so long, and his standard and the way he teaches and stuff was very easy. And man, being around a great group of guys, man, the great defensive line room that we have, the character that they have, the goofiness that they have, the camaraderie that they have, also it has been unbelievable. So it's been a smooth ride for me, and it's definitely a blessing for that, because I know some people can have kind of bumpy rides and things like that, but I had a blessed ride. So.
When you told her.
I just wanted to say real quick, man, what a blessing it is to have this guy on this team. What a great, well-spoken man he is. And I think he's going to be a great representative for not only this defensive line and this defensive side of the ball, but for the Dallas Cowboys in general. I think he's going to be a staple, a fan favorite. I think going into next season, you're going to see a lot of Quentin Williams jerseys in the stands, and stuff like that. He's just ultimately one of the best pickups as a Dallas Cowboys fan I've ever seen. Him, Pickens, to add them both this season is just, it's been a blessing. You know, with Pickens, they said he was going to come in and be a headache. He has not been a headache. He's been everything but a headache. Quinnen Williams, everybody said, oh, you know, we shouldn't have we gave up too much. He's every bit worth the first round pick that we gave up for him. I can't complain at all. I'm a huge fan of this guy already. And I really look forward, to what him and Kenny Clark are going to be able to do for this defensive line going forward. I think the pairing of those two is something that I hope that we are able to retain going into next season. But listen, I just love what he brings to this table. I'm going to let him finish up what he got to say, and we're going to go from there. Let's keep this train moving and grooving.
Hey, babe, we're going to Texas. What was the reaction?
She's super organized and already and super together. So she was just like got her little notebook and planned out everything and got the flights and did everything. And I was just like, okay, let me grab my toothbrush and stuff. So yeah, but she knocked it out the park, and she definitely made it super easy for me. And then the organization was phenomenal and unbelievable. So it was definitely a smooth transition.
What are the biggest challenges that the Lions present offensively?
I think they all offensive gentlemen. They have a dominant offensive line. They have a dominant run game, and they got one of the best running backs of all time to me, because he came from Bama also. So, man, going against an explosive guy like the two that they have, and especially Jameer, is definitely a great challenge. So,
you've already said it once that one man can't do it all, but the evidence is pretty overwhelming of the difference for this defense since you got here. What do you think has been the biggest difference?
I think everybody just execute, man, to the best of their ability. I wasn't here before. I don't really know what was going on before I got here, but since I've been here, man, everybody just been firing on all cylinders when it come down to doing their job the best of their ability, and feeding off each other, learning from each other, pushing each other, holding each other accountable. And it's been unbelievable to be a part of. And all I say, man, nobody can, like I say, man, change one thing. One person can't change things, man. One person can't affect the game, and for win losses. It's a team effort. It's a unit effort, especially on defense. We all lose together. We all win together. So it's just been unbelievable to work with those guys in the defensive room and to get better every single day. So,
and the numbers show that your production's maybe been a little better than it was this season with the Jets. Do you agree with that? And
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah,
100% agree. Just because, man, I just think I'm in the best position when it comes down to winning one-on-ones, and then I got guys around me here that like Kenny Clark and Osa, who's take advantage of their one-on-ones, and definitely win those. And just the unit itself, man, is just firing all cylinders.
Let me mention that as well. I love that he mentioned Kenny Clark. He's giving praise to Kenny. He's giving praise to Osa, but we also get Perion Winfrey. I know he's a little less than Osa. I know he's definitely not a Kenny Clark or a Quinnen Williams, but Perion Winfrey will bring something to this defensive line where there's just no quitting it, right? Every play, in and out, is constant pressure coming up from this interior. I can't wait to get him back on the field here. I think our ends are going to eat. I think our defensive ends are going to get some sacks in this game against Jared Goff, simply because he's not a mobile quarterback. So as a Raku, Jadeveon Clowney is coming off the edge. I mean, he's looking new-winded and stuff. He has a new wind about him. He's coming off the edge. He's cleaning up shit. So I love that. But then you get the Sam Williams is now getting involved heavily and stuff like that. So this line is just becoming one that is scary to face. It's stopping the run. It's filling the gaps. We got Overshown in the back. They're flying around. You got the Murrays. You got the Wilsons. You got Trey Diggs coming back in the quarterback position. So we should be nice and tight back there. Pause. We should be nice and tight back there, though. We should just, this defense is going from last to middle of the pack already in front of our eyes. And I think the sky's the limit with more time and continuity these guys get. And if we can keep on winning while learning, man, we are sitting good, man. We are sitting good, nation. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're always building over here. I'm on the chase for 100 subscribers. Any content creators want to do business, whether it's the Minnesota Vikings, San Diego Chargers, New York Giants, or the Washington Commanders, any of y'all, we got the games coming up. Please hit me, send me an email. We can get it going, right? But please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're getting this far with me in the video. Let's get back to what Quinnen Williams is talking about.
And balling, so it helped me just kind of go out there and do my job the best of my ability. So
How much would you credit that to playing more of an attack style here?
I credit it all just being in a great group of room with great group of guys, and it's just phenomenal being around Kenny Clark and Osa and White Cotton, especially because he kind of helped me out become who I am now. And then you got Easy, a rookie who's playing phenomenal, and then Jadeveon Clowney who's playing phenomenal. So having a unit like that, man, everybody's going to succeed because everybody working their tail off to be the best. So.
Can you think back to early in your time with White Cotton in New York, where was there one thing that was said or one thing that was done to your game that kind of helped flip the light switch on, or you really saw improvements after a certain thing that he taught you?
I think everything, man. I was a 3-4 guy. I was a read type guy who came from Bama. It was all read. When I first got in the league, up on the Gates and Greg Williams, all of them was all read front 3-4. So when White Cotton came in and Coach Solomon came, it was all attack 4-3. So I kind of unleashed all my athletic ability and just helped me out through my game, and essentially the reason I'm who I am today. So.
Does this room remind you a little bit of being back at Alabama, where you have a lot of that kind of talent that feeds off each other?
Oh, it definitely does. It definitely does, man. You got so many guys who do so many great things, and then a lot of guys who do things differently, man. A lot of guys who got superpowers who go out there and put it on Front Street. So it's definitely a great room, a great talented room at that, and it's super fun to be a part of. So.
What's it been like for you since Marshawn died? You were supposed to share a defensive line room, and you never really got a chance to be around him when that happened.
Mhm.
What's it been like for you to just kind of deal with that and process those emotions?
I haven't really had a chance to kind of process those emotions. I always try to be a helping hand, especially the guys who've been around him the most, and the guys who had a friendship with him the most and really lost a brother the most, and just be that person who somebody need to talk to, somebody need to lean on, and somebody need to kind of be a helping hand to help them emotionally. It taught me a lot, man. It taught me a lot just being around a group of guys um, that you can love your teammates, man. You can do the things that takes to win the Super Bowl. You have to love your teammates. You have to have camaraderie. You have to have that off the field chemistry, and that's what they had with him. So it's a unbelievable opportunity to be a part of a group of guys who truly love each other, and to be a part of a group of guys who helped me learn how to love one another also. So.
Is this the first time in your career you've been in a playoff chase? I mean, you're not in the playoffs as of the moment, but you have a chance. Is this the best chance you've ever had?
Yeah, it is.
How do you feel?
I kind of really don't even think about it. I kind of really just try to get better every single day. It's a goal I have for this defense, and we have for ourselves, is to be one of the best defenses in the league, and just stacking to that goal every single day and do the things that we can do every single day to get to that goal is kind of the main thing on my mind. And the things that I can do to help this defense become the number one defense in the league is kind of the main thing on my mind. So.
When you win 3 in a row, though, is there increased belief? Is there increased energy day to day? Is there a different feeling? You're not looking too far ahead.
For me personally, it's just give you confidence, especially when you beat good teams and great teams who've been in the playoffs many times and organizations who've been to Super Bowls and things like that. It definitely give you confidence. But like I said, man, you just got to go back to the root on how you win those games and the things how you achieve those goals, and that's called all the small things, the fundamentals, and the little things, essentially get you to win those games. So.
Yeah, I mean, it felt good to be in this position this late in the season. We feel like we got a chance right there, so we just got to keep executing, keep playing, and just let everything work out.
Given what's happened to the Eagles and the way you guys are playing.
Yeah, that's Javonte right there. So, once again, just to wrap up Quinnen Williams, what he was saying, You know, these guys just need to stick to their goals that they set, their aspirations for this team since he's come along with this team. I think it's a clear messaging in the room. I think they understand, they know their goals, their mission, and week in and week out, you got guys looking to perform and execute. They want to get their names read on that list. Shotty be reading off after the wins in the locker room. The energy in the room, the energy in the building. It's just a beautiful thing to see. It's not one that we thought as Cowboys fans we would be feeling this season, especially given how the first 8 games of this season has went, you know, really well prior to the bye. And the addition of Quentin Williams and stuff like that, you know, we felt down about this team. We felt out. We felt like things weren't right. And then, you know, boom, here comes Quentin, and here's a juice to this defensive line, and all of a sudden the offense has got it back clicking again, because it was hot to start the season, but this defense was abysmal. So it's refreshing, it's inspirational. I just love the addition of this guy. I hope contractually in the future we can make it work to make him a long-term Dallas Cowboy, ultimately retire a Dallas Cowboy, and ultimately go into the Hall of Fame as a Dallas Cowboy. I just want that for him. I just want to keep picking. Right now I just want these guys to stick around. I love what's going on. I love what's happening. And I can't speak to it enough, honestly. I can't speak to it enough. I just I just think we need to stay focused on what we can focus on, which is doing our jobs, winning, right? And going forward. Not looking back, not looking over our shoulder to see what other teams are doing. Oh my God. And unfortunately, yes, we have to look over our shoulder and see what other teams are doing, but none of it matters if we're not handling our business. So, first things first, let's focus on the Detroit Lions. Let's focus on how we can uh uh win this game, how we can go in there and execute. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. You know how the Lions fans give it up. It should be a loud stadium. So being on point, you know, keeping the penalties to the low, making sure we win the turnover battle. Hopefully we can win the time of possession and get the hell up out of there healthy. Those are what the things that need to happen, right? And then we can look and see what other teams are doing. But until then, it really doesn't matter. So let's hear what the coach has to say. You know, Shotty, what his clear messaging has been. He's been a godsend to the team as well. I will say right here on my channel that, you know, if I got to keep it real, this real sports talk, I was not a fan of this hire. I thought that it was a lame duck hire. I thought that he wasn't going to
Wednesday on Sunday. Yeah, I was just watching, looking for some scores. There you go. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Next question.
Well, just have to come with you now.
Yeah.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Trayvon Diggs, is he still on target to start practice today?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He's gone through a lot with his health, and I think you guys have had to discipline him a couple of times. And you've always said you're a people person. How is your relationship with Diggs?
I think really good. I think, you know, Trayvon and I have had some really real conversation with one another and sharing our feelings. And I think he and I understand each other, and I respect him as a man and as a father, and what an incredible football player. And I think he understands what we're trying to build here and why we're trying to do it that way. And so I'm excited to see how he looks and how he feels.
The group has gone through a lot with the health. How do you think Fluke's been able to handle all those guys, the in and outs of it?
Yeah, again, it's unique when it hits certain positions. Like early in the year, it hit the offensive line where it comes in bunches and you're down a bunch of guys. Same thing with the DBs and really the corners. But I think they've managed it well. I think it's a good group of guys. They're all very professional. They all understand what we're trying to get done, and I think there's some selfless guys in that room. They just want to do their part to help us win.
How you doing, Coach? Everything?
I'm doing great, Happy. It's not Thanksgiving anymore. It's over. We moved on. Yeah, we moved on.
Oh, yeah.
Moved on. Yeah,
There
I
you
saw
go.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched the game.
You did.
I watched the game.
Couple of questions. Piggybacking on the Diggs things, could he play safety, or is that even being considered?
I wouldn't even think of that. I mean, I think he's a shutdown corner when he's at his best and when he's playing well. And he is a guy with incredible ball skills. But again, I think, it's going to be good to have him out there moving around a little bit and see how he feels.
Kalen Carson, he back and ready to go?
Should be. Yep. See how he moves around today.
I know there's a lot on the line for both teams, playoff implications with this game, but Detroit has made this thing personal the last couple of years. We've been around here with the tackle eligibles and different things that they've done, maybe to embarrass the Cowboys. I don't know if is that a source of motivation for your team? Have you brought that stuff up? Do you even talk about that at all?
No, you know us, Clarence. We talk about ourselves and we focus on ourselves. I mean, Dan has built a really strong football team that mirrors his identity, and we're trying to do the same thing here. And just another championship opportunity for us.
Brian, Todd Archer with ESPN. I think the last 3 games, you've had 3 of your 4 best defensive performances on third down. What do you attribute the improvement to on your third down defense?
Yeah, tighter coverage. I think that starts affecting the quarterback is a huge part of that. Getting, even if it's not sacks, it's hits. It's moving them off the spot. It's them feeling the rush kind of in his face. But really a combination of those. And really, when we've struggled on third down, Todd, it's been really a lot of third and longs. Like we've struggled on third and long, which is really you're trying to get people into third and long. And so I think that it's been more of the first 2 things that we've made them have to make tighter, more contested throws. One, and then of course the quarterbacks have been feeling the pressure of our pass rush.
Praised as a Raku here for the last month or so. Was there any kind of aha moment for you with him where you saw like, okay, he's kind of figured this out? Not that he ever figured it out, but he's kind of knows what the pro game's about.
I think just the consistency that he performs with every week is what jumps off the film at me. I mean, he just, he plays the run. He can affect the quarterback. He's disciplined. He's calling things out. And, I'm excited about him because I think, I also know the type of leader that he can be. And
Dak Prescott is the ultimate leader. Dak Prescott, you see him on the sideline going up and down the bench, telling guys it's not over with. I don't know if you guys seen the sounds of the sideline versus the Philadelphia Eagles, but it was beautiful to watch. Beautiful to watch. When he had his press conference, I had not seen the sounds of the sideline. And he said how there was no quit in the team, how there was no disbelief that we couldn't come back and win. And in my mind, I'm saying, yeah, that's the professional thing to say. Of course, we're going to say after the fact, hey, we didn't think we were going to lose or anything like that. But, to see the sounds of the sideline and him actually believe that they were going to come back, to not once allow a shadow to come over that sideline and any doubt form in any player's mind that we couldn't come back and win that game. It was beautiful to see. He's an ultimate professional, but he's a goddamn good leader too. And man, listen, I love that he's my quarterback, flaws and all, right? Because his career is a long one. He was a 4th round pick, not supposed to be here, had to fight his whole way. God-given ability and talent, but it's hard work that has Dak in this position where he's at. He's seeing the field, he's seeing the game. It's slowed down for him. Listen, I just love what he's doing right now. I love that he's getting guys involved like Flournoy is shining because Flournoy is keeping Mingo on the bench. We traded for him. And he's keeping him on the bench, a healthy scratch week in and week out, because we can't not have Flournoy out there. He's making those plays, those in between key moments plays, the keep drives going plays. He isn't dropping the ball when given opportunity, and it just speaks to the kind of ball that he's catching. Dak is giving friendly balls and paws to everybody. And I just love it, man. He's just seeing the field right now. He's getting guys involved, and it's beautiful to see. Let's finish up with Coach.
I think I shared with you guys, I talked to both him and Tyler Booker and, talked to them about, adding, their voice. And hey, we're deep into the season and you guys have earned the right to speak up. And it's been fun for me to watch both those guys kind of come out of their shell a little bit and be comfortable speaking up in front of the guys and in meetings and things like that.
John Machado with The Athletic. With Kenneth Murray and Logan Wilson, the way you've been using them, is that kind of the way you see it is going forward? Or do you want one of those guys, or do you prefer one of those guys to just win the job and be the guy?
Yeah, again, I think, John, what we're trying to do is create competition every day. And I think both guys are doing good things. I think in a perfect world, someone grabs it and it's like a no-brainer. But I think the good thing for us right now is they're both doing really good things. And so therefore it's like, let's find the rotation. They're both very different players, which I kind of like because it's different for the defense, in terms of the way they function and the way, Logan's got strengths and K9's got strengths. And so I do think that that's harder on offenses, being an offensive guy. But again, I think we're comfortable going into battle with both those guys. And until one of them clearly shows, hey, I've taken this thing over and it's my job, then we're comfortable playing them both.
And then what did you think of Nate Thomas on Thursday and just what you've seen his whole body of work?
Yeah, love his size, love his athleticism.
Yeah.
I think he looks way more comfortable, way more confident.
Yeah, definitely.
What I like about Nate is he's really been prepping the last couple.
We haven't even talked about how we went into Kansas, how we had Kansas City come into the building, knowing that they could not afford to lose that game, with Tyler Guyton out at left tackle, who's having a up and down season, but he's growing. He's growing into the position, right? He's naturally a right tackle. But anyway, to have Nate Thomas step into that position, to be a non-factor as far as there was no sacks given up by Nate Thomas. I don't even think he allowed a pressure. It was beautiful to see. Shouts out to Nate Thomas for that.
Weeks, both at right tackle, left tackle. We actually had him competing some on the right side as well. But, the thing I like about Nate's when he's gone in there for and had to start, he's played well. He's played with confidence. And, I think that that's something that a young player who really is in year one, like, let's be honest, Nate is really in year one. I know it's year two, with his experience in the league, but he missed all of last year. And so we're very pleased by what we see from Nate and think he's got a very high ceiling.
Anything with George's knee, calf thing, or is he good through that?
Did you see him jump over that guy?
I did.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. Dak and Jared Goff are, I think, 2 and 3 in play action passing this year. When you're going up against a guy who uses play action and is so good at it as your quarterback is in practice, do you feel like that is beneficial for your defense?
Of course.
Because they've seen you work so much of it in practice?
I think so. I think, we both have identity where we want to run the football. We want to obviously, use the play action passing game. I think it does. I think when you look at some of the plays that they run, I mean, it's not just the action passing, it's the motions and things like that. They probably use more of the extra linemen than we do. But I think so, because a lot of times we can look at those plays, Tommy, and we translate it into our verbiage. And so it's almost like you're not even running a card. You're actually running a play that we have, and we can use our terminology on it. And I think that makes the look cleaner sometimes.
And you mentioned the run game with them, with Gibbs and Montgomery. How unique is that, and what kind of a challenge did both of those guys present?
Yeah, both terrific players. Talk about Gibbs. I mean, the speed is just incredible. You give that guy space, and he's just, I don't think I've seen him get caught yet. Loved him coming out. One of my favorite interviews that I ever did at the combine. He was incredible. And, I've competed against Montgomery a number of times, and the physicality he plays with. So I think it's a really cool balance that they have of those two guys, and not knowing them and how they function. I would imagine they're close friends, and they
Scott.
Scott Dixon with the AP. Quentin Williams has told us at least once that one guy can't do it all in the context of the difference that he's made. The evidence is pretty overwhelming of the difference that he's made. What do you see in the difference in the 3 games since he's been here?
I think it starts with just the way you have to game plan him. You know, we've done that quite a bit, Skylar, over the last couple of years. And I mean, you have to have a plan to neutralize him. Him one-on-one is a very, very tough assignment for really any interior offensive lineman. But I do think that he's exactly right. It's not just one guy. You know, I mean, we have Jadeveon Clowney's affecting the quarterback as much as anybody. You know what I'm saying? The coverage.
Osa Digizua.
Revel is doing a great job of tying up receivers, which is, again, tighter coverage. So now the pass rush gets home. And I think what you hear Q say is real. You know, defense is about all 11 guys. But, again, I'd be lying if I said when you open up the personnel report and you see Quentin Williams' name, you're like, oh, what am I going to do about this? You know, and so I think that's real. And when you pay a lot of attention to him, it gives other guys a lot of opportunities to showcase their talent.
And his production seems to be a little better than it was with the Jets. Does that speak to what you're just saying, that the personnel that he joined, the guys you already have that could make plays, and now he's got him with him to do it?
Yeah, I think and how well he's fit in with the locker room. I mean, how quickly he's gotten adapted to our style, our culture, our connection, the way he's communicating. Certainly helped that he's had this style of defense with, you know, White Cotton. And but I think it speaks to him not just as a football player, but as a man. I know everybody's talked about his speech, you know, a couple weeks back, but like he's just been so easy to bring him into our family, and Logan as well, and really a number of the new guys. But like that's what you love about him.
Ed Werder, WFAA. When seasons start, teams generally talk about their first goal is to win the division. Since week 1 and that loss to Philly, it almost seemed unattainable where you guys were 2 weeks ago. But since you overcame that 21-point deficit, beat them, now you've won 3 straight. They've lost 2 straight. You're within a game and a half of them with 5 to play. How do you view the potential now, and how do you interact with the players about, you know, achieving that goal?
Yeah, Ed, you know, I talked to the guys today about, you know, just trust the process. You got to stay in the moment. You know, like we're taking today. What is today? Seriously, today is Sunday, right? But it's Wednesday for us. Like, I'm not thinking about winning the division. I'm thinking about throwing a great practice today and then having great meetings this afternoon and cleaning up the things that we got to do and then putting together a great third down plan. Like from day one, I've told you guys, and it's what I believe, and there's different styles. When you start looking too far ahead, whether it's game 1, preseason, end of season, you take your eye off what really matters. And I think that's when you don't perform to your maximum capabilities because you're distracted. I told the guys a little bit today, you know, I mean, just because we've won 3 games, that doesn't change anything. You know, we're going to go out there today and we're going to be very intentional about throwing a great practice. We're going to go out there, run around in shells. We got to really focus on the fundamentals. You know, I think focusing on the skills that help you play at an elite level is what's going to help us continue to sustain success and win games moving down into the latter part of the season and put ourselves in position to make the playoffs, whatever that looks like.
In your first season as a head coach, you had 2 jobs here when the season began that you've never done before here. Head coach ever play caller on offense. In addition to that, you had a defensive crisis you had to get involved in, and the death of a player that you had to help the players through. How do you look at how you handled and managed all of those challenges?
You know, I'll probably do that after the season. You know, to be honest with you, I'll look back and I'm always going to be hard on myself. I'm always going to look at the things I didn't do well, but I'll also find the things I've done well. I think, you know, what I would say to you, Ed, to that is I'm always going to be real. I'm always going to be me. And I think that, you know, that allows me to sleep well at night after a win, after a loss, after a good day, after a tragic moment. Because I think that's what allows you to impact people, is when you're authentic, you're real, you care about people. And that's the way I was raised.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio, 105.3 The Fan. The Lions defense and their new coordinator, Shepard, I mean, he had been with Glenn for a few years and knows the players and personnel and system, but How different is it, and if at all? And every coordinator, I'm sure, tries to put their own stamp on things. So what is his?
I think he's doing a great job. I really do. I think, you look at, how physical they play. I give Dan a lot of the credit, but, with AG moving on to go to New York and Kelvin coming in, I think you see his personality fits in there as well. The thing that makes them a little bit unique is they're very comfortable playing base defense. They play base defense to basically everything. But this is a physical group, and they're aggressive, and they're going to get up in your face and play you press man to man. And they don't shy away from, saying, hey, we're going to come up and play you press man to man, and they make you work. And the linebackers are very, very good. And you can tell that there's a lot of carryover, but I do think that you see his personality. I think you see they're doing a really good job taking the football away. You watch the intentionality of them punching balls and trying to strip balls out, which has been an area that we need to be a lot better at. That's maybe one of the things that jumps out at me is how they're attacking the football.
Joe. Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. You've had two tough interior defensive lines they've faced the last 2 weeks. Tyler Booker's allowed 2 pressures. What's the biggest difference you've seen from the beginning of the season with Tyler Booker to now?
Fundamentals. I think, he's playing way more in balance. I think he's using his length. He's got incredible arm length, and he's using his length. And it's been 2 really, really good players. I mean, talk about Jalen and Chris Jones. And I do think that it's because of the fact that he's playing with a great base and he's using his length, and the play style jumps off the film. He's always been great at that. That's never changed. But I would say it comes down to his fundamentals. And that kind of goes back to my point I was talking about earlier was, that has to continue. You can't get into late November, December, where you start pulling off of reps and you start pulling things back a little bit because of how late it is in the season, but you got to get your individual. Like, I'm not going to trim individual. We need to focus on those skills that allow us to play well. And I think that's why he's playing well, is he's learning to use his hands and stay in balance and have counter moves and things like that.
Early in the season, he had some rookie moments and then obviously had an injury too to deal with. Just how did you see him kind of handle that and kind of persevere through that?
He attacked it. I mean, he really did. He attacked it. I remember I could see him. He'd be over there with Britt. He'd be working. We'd be watching the plays I'd see.
Yeah. So I just want to put it wrap to it. We're already past the hour mark. I don't want to keep y'all for too long. Thank you if you've been staying along with me this whole time. Please remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Pound that like button. Let the algorithm know this is some content that you're enjoying and I can reach more people. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. But just to put a capsule on where I want to go with this, is we have to remember that we have to keep this one game at a time, right? We have to keep it one game at a time. We can't look too far ahead, and we can't look in the past to save us. What we can control is the here and now, folks. And up next, we have the Detroit Lions. We're at their home. You got Jared Goff. You got Sonic and Knuckles and Gibbs and Montgomery. There's no St. Brown, but you still got a good tight end in Laporta. So you got things to worry about over here if you're the Dallas Cowboys. Detroit will not lay down for us. By no means will they lay down for us if we don't handle business against the Detroit Lions. Talking about the playoffs become lesser and lesser of a sure thing. The percentage of us already making the playoffs is very small. So we have no room to fall. We have to stay on our feet. We have to stay 10 toes down in our assignments, in our mission, and in our goal. And let's let the roll the dice and let the chips fall where they may. I'm expecting a win. My score prediction for this game will be, because I think they're going to score some points. They're going to do some good things on their side of the ball. I think that the score will be ultimately somewhere in the range of 34-28, maybe 35-26, something like that. Dallas wins in a thriller. We kind of pull away a little bit at the end, possibly. I'm not saying a BTA situation, which is, belt to ass. I'm not necessarily calling it that kind of victory, but I'm expecting Dallas to go into Detroit on Thursday night and to hand those guys another loss. And it would be great for us in the standings of the NFC if we're able to do that. Please make sure, remember to hit that subscribe button, the like button, comment. Let me know about the content that I've given you guys here today. How you feeling going into this matchup? Do you think Cowboys can win? And if so, leave your score prediction down below. It's your boy. Thank you for your time. It's been real, and we got the Lions up next. So I'm out. Peace.